One day, without even realizing it, you'll stop trying to become the woman you thought you were supposed to be and begin appreciating the woman you fought so hard to become. Maybe that's what growing older was always meant to teach us. Let's talk about it. Hey, family, welcome back to Rooted Vines and welcome back to the table. I don't have a table today because my husband's going to come in and make too much noise. If you're new here, I'm the founder of Rooted Vines, and I'm so grateful that you've come to this channel today. At Rooted Vines, I help women slow down, reconnect with themselves, and create meaningful moments through honest conversations, intentional living, and soon to be herbal rituals that nourish the mind, body, and the spirit. If you're anything like me, you may have a warm cup of tea next to you, and I'd love to know what you're drinking today. So please be nice and don't gatekeep and put it in the comments because I'm always looking for some new favorites and I love to hear what my family is sipping on as we spend this time together. If you'd like to learn more about Rooted Vines or explore our loose leaf teas, read the companion blog below or contact me on social media. You'll find everything you need linked below. And if these conversations encourage your heart, I hope you'll take a moment to like the video, share it, subscribe, and share it with other women who might need some encouragement. Every comment, every share, and every subscription helps this community grow and helps these conversations reach women who may be searching for hope. Now, pour your tea, ladies, and get comfortable because this is going to be a good conversation. And let's return to ourselves together. I'm so sorry this video is so dark, but we're going to get started, sis. So, have you ever caught a reflection or a glimpse of yourself unexpectedly? I know I have. But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the times that you are intentionally getting ready for your day, getting ready for work, where you're placing yourself in front of the bathroom mirror. I'm talking about the reflection you catch while you're kind of like passing by a store window, or you might go by a mirror in a hallway by passing just for a second, like a split second glimpse of yourself. And almost without thinking about it, some of us, our minds begin to make a list about ourselves. We start to tell ourselves that we're looking tired or we're aging, and some of us will start to touch our face. And a lot of us will think, man, you should have accomplished more by now. You should have done more. And you looked so different when you were young, and I wish I had. And it's amazing how quickly that glimpse can turn to us being our worst critic. And who taught us to speak that way about ourselves and think that way? And when did we as women in the mirror stop becoming someone we loved and became someone we constantly tried to fix? Well, let's talk about it. Pull up a chair, sis, and pour yourself a cup of white tea. It's about to get good. The mirror never lied. It never lies. I've been thinking a lot about mirrors lately, not because they've changed, but because I have, right? These days, when I look in the mirror, I see more gray hair, honey. I got it covered up than I ever imagined. But I do love it. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love my grays. And I smile because years ago, I probably would have panicked had I gone gray. I would have reached for that Clairol, Miss Clairol box color before anyone noticed. But today, sis, I wish it would all turn gray. I got streaks. I got like a little streak in the sides. Right now, I think the silver, the gray in the middle of my head is really wisdom. And every time I see it, I smile because I feel like I'm taking on the mantle of matriarchy, right? And gray is becoming one of my favorite colors. I hope I said that right. To me, the gray speaks of grace And again, it speaks of wisdom, experience, lessons learned. It speaks of surviving seasons I never thought I would survive. It reminds me that my life has been lived. Again, the lessons have been learned, and somehow, not somehow, but God has carried me through every single one of them that I'm here to share with you today. Gray doesn't whisper that my life is ending or I'm getting decrepit. It tells me that I have finally lived long enough to become someone another woman may actually need. See, when I was growing up, I didn't really have counsel. No circle of older women, when I say that. No elders placing wisdom into my hand or speaking it into my mind, my spirit, or my soul. No one was saying, come on over and sit with me. Let me tell you what I've learned in this journey of mine. So I walked into many chapters of my life blindly. I made countless mistakes that wisdom could have helped me avoid. And I paid for lessons that someone else had already learned. As I've gotten older, I've realized how much we've lost in that area. We become a generation that often dismisses the very women who carry that wisdom we need. We call them the seasoned women in the church, right? Sometimes we reject their counsel, but here over time, I have learned this. The women who have made mistakes often carry the deepest wisdom. Their scars become their education, right? Their failures become more compassionate and they speak from compassion and passion, and their tears become someone else's roadmap. And I appreciate that. Today, I feel I'm slowly becoming one of those women, which is crazy, right? I am taking a seat at the council table, you guys. I am being called. And that's not something I resist. I've always known I would be called up. It's something that I honor and I get ready to take that mantle because every gray hair reminds me I've earned this seat at the table, at the council. The woman I used to be, um, around 25 years old, if she was to walk in today, I think she'd stare at me for a long time. And she'd probably ask, what happened, sis? What happened? How'd you get here? And I'd smile and I'd tell her, I finally stopped trying to force everything. I was taught, if you worked harder, if you loved harder, if you gave more, matter of fact, if you gave your all, if you fixed more, if you had more solutions, if you held it all together, life would finally make sense for you and come together for you. But I know better now, sis. It doesn't work like that. Peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from trusting God, letting go with what was never mine to carry in the first place. She would notice something else too about me. And I can't help but smile. I keep smiling. The fight is gone. I don't have the strength, honey. I'm not finna fight you on that. I ain't got time. When I was younger, I was a little scrappy, but the fight is not mine. The constant battle to prove myself, no, ma'am. I don't have it no more. The pressure to make everything work and everyone love each other and everybody come together, the fear that everything depended on me, I let it go. I accept where you are, what you're trying to do. I have peace. There's harmony, and I have room to breathe now. And it's amazing because I think many women lose themselves long before they realize they're actually gone. And for me, I would say it happened after I became a mom. And some of the other videos I've done, I've talked about that. Life became just heavier with children and harder, and these single moms out here that are young and have more than three kids, my heart goes out to you because everything moves so quickly. And there's not time to stop and really ask questions. You react to everything, and then you're not asking yourself, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And there was a time that I would only react. I'd feed the baby, I paid the bills, I go to work, right? It's back to back to back to back. There's no breathers, and you're taking care of everyone, and you're trying to put on this facade and do what everyone expects you to do. And you wake up every day and you do it again, and nothing's different, and you feel like you're in this monotony and you're alone. And somewhere along the way, I disappeared. You disappeared. As women, we disappeared. And maybe you felt that. Not only that, motherhood changes us, but marriage changes us too. Caregiving changes us. Life asks so much of us as women. Every single day, we're trying to remember ourselves while also giving pieces of ourselves to everyone. And a lot of them don't deserve you, sis. It becomes a quiet battle within, one that most people will never see. Learning to see myself, learning to see yourself, learning to see us as women. One of the hardest journeys I've taken wasn't, going to the hospital or going through some type of pain or some type of loss. It was learning to see myself. And that is a hard journey, but it's the most important journey. For years, I wore wigs and styles that I believe that made me acceptable or palatable to the world, right? That they could see me in a certain light, because not only am I carrying all this burden, now it's my physical looks. When I decided to wear my natural hair, I talked to my husband first. Then I began my lock journey. I cried almost every day because in that point, I lost another piece of me. I didn't know who I was. I wasn't sure anyone would even find me beautiful. But sis, why didn't I find myself beautiful in that? Instead, I felt exposed, uncovered, almost like I was meeting myself for the first time. And that helped me uh, prompt my journey even further. And this lock journey's been 10 years, honey, and I absolutely love my locks, and I'm so glad I did it. And it did help me grow. And I love everything they represent, the fight, the freedom to be me, no matter what it is, as long as I approve, right? The love I found within me. Now, on top of me dealing with my hair, I don't know if I've told you that I've had back surgery too, right? And so, on top of this, I'm thinking I need to stop trying to be the version of everyone else's beauty. I have to become my own woman, loving the woman God has poured into, has created, has been growing, right? So I have my hair going on, I have this back injury, my body's changing, the weight's coming on fast, and I'm in this pain constantly. And I still do live with it every day, but it's so much better than it was. There were just moments when I just wanted to look beautiful, not just for myself, but for my husband. And I know a lot of women understand what I'm saying when I say that. But along the journey, other women left little breadcrumbs. You'd find your way back to yourself. And some of the tidbits I used today, because they were beautiful, some were really heavy, and I still think about ideas about what womanhood should look like, what you should look like in womanhood, how a wife should look, how a woman should carry herself, all of the things. Now, some of these breadcrumbs led me home. They helped me get to myself, but there was some that women had that kind of led me away from myself. So we have to be careful about who we speak to these days. So now I am exercising. I'm caring for my body inside and out, and my motivation has changed. My process of thinking has changed. I'm caring for this body because it carried me this far, right? I want it to be healthy. I want to get to my 60s, y'all. I want it strong enough to also carry and hold the wisdom God still has for me and shares with me and pours into me. Now, there was a woman that I did resent, and she lived in rage for 7 years. She was terribly hurt, and she was exhausted, and she was tired of fighting, and she felt really lost for a very, very long time. Long time. And I wish this woman had made different choices. I wish she had known more, known better, been in touch with her discernment and intuition. I wish she would have healed faster. But today, I thank her because without her, understand, I would not be sitting here because I am her. Without her, I wouldn't understand forgiveness. And without her, I definitely wouldn't recognize peace. She walked through the valley of death, y'all, so I could sit here at this invisible table in this spinny chair. And maybe this is true for you. Maybe you've walked through the valley of shadow of death and you made it out to sit where you are to hear this. Maybe the woman you're hardest on is the very woman who got you right here through all the tears and pains. Here you are, sis. Here we are together. Scripture tells us in Psalms 139 that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Who is man to tell us that we are not? God formed us intentionally. Every season, every chapter, every lesson. Listen, Second Corinthians tells us that in Christ we are made new. Who is the world to tell us different? I've come to the understanding that becoming new isn't forgetting who you were. It's just allowing God to redeem every part of your story, to claim that so that your testimony is more powerful. Even the chapters you wish you had written differently, understand. Proverbs reminds us she is clothed with strength and dignity, not perfection, sis, dignity. There's something really beautiful about that and about that word dignity because dignity doesn't demand flawlessness. Okay? That's not what we're talking about. It just stands for a quiet grace, a return to practice. Y'all hear my husband making noise? That's why I'm up here in this guest room. So tonight, sis, before you go to bed, I want you to stand in front of your mirror. All right. Don't fix your hair because it's perfect. Don't adjust your clothes because you look good, sis. And don't search for flaws because God doesn't make flaws. Simply place your hand over your heart and just smile. Just sit with yourself for a minute and smile, even if it feels unfamiliar because we're not used to loving ourselves that way. Then I want you to say this: Lord, thank you for the woman you're helping me to become. You may not believe those words at first. Say them anyway, sis. Say them and say them and say them every night. Sometimes healing begins by speaking truth before your feelings catch up to it. Because feelings, the emotions, they get you in trouble all the time. And so, sis, before we leave today, I want to tell you something I wish every younger woman could hear. Your decisions are never yours alone. Remember that. We live in an ocean full of ripples. Everything affects everything. I say this because the choices we make touch our children, they touch our spouses, they touch our friends and our parents. We are not a monolith. Everything we do ripples in our communities. The generations that come after us, we were here to create it to serve one another. So we have to be mindful of the generations below us and above us. And remember this too, for a lot of you, before your mother became your mother, she was simply a young woman trying to figure out life. And she made mistakes and she had demons and addictions that she had to fight. And before your grandmother became the elder you admired, or maybe you didn't, she was still a little girl carrying dreams and fears of her own. We're individuals. And for you that are married before you became someone's wife, someone's mother, or someone's grandmother, all right? You were just simply you, and you're still simply you. Look, we all do our best in this world. We do what we can. Um, with the understanding and the knowledge that we have at the time. So please give yourself grace, sis, and give grace to the people who gave you life. Doesn't mean that they're right, doesn't mean they made the right decisions. Give them grace because God gives us grace. Because one day you'll look into the mirror for the last time. And I hope when that day comes, you recognize the woman smiling back at you. I hope you see the little girl that had the dreams, the young woman who fought for what was right for her, the mother who sacrificed, the woman who survived, the woman who learned to forgive, and the elder who carries the wisdom. I hope you smile, sis. I hope you know how beautiful you are. And I hope you quietly thank God every day for every version of yourself that help you become the woman that you are right now. All right, guys, until next time, come sit with me at the table. I hope this helped someone. Again, I'm Maya. This is the table. Be blessed, family, and stay rooted.